welcome back. Today, one man wanders through a dangerous island known as Atoll, armed with only raw potatoes. This is an extremely hostile territory consisting of snakes, scorpions, spiders, monkeys, and even the worst, birds. In this series, being restricted to raw potatoes is not the only challenge. I will also be taking on this quest and future achievements with the lowest possible requirements. All to be done on a Hardcore Ironman, meaning if I die, my status will be revoked and the series will come to an end. To do this, I will be using my 15 years of game knowledge and experience in order to put myself to the ultimate test. Therefore, I welcome you all to my dangerous but new series.
Potato only, Hardcore Ironman.
In today's episode, I take on the hardest challenge I have yet to face on this account. This involves me giving my best attempts to complete Monkey Madness. This video took around 50 hours to create, with all of the theory crafting, testing, performance of the actual quest, and even editing the video. Therefore, at the end of the video, if you appreciate the effort and you like the series, a subscription would really help me out. And if you do this, I will also be your best friend. As well, if somehow in hell we reach 1 million subscribers someday, I will literally change my first name to Rendi. Before I even started the quest on the hardcore, I had to test and map out a few things. The first of which was me actually going around the entire island and marking aggression zones literally everywhere for every NPC. Wow, you're using a cheat client. Well, I got what I deserved, and the next day I logged in and all of my tile markers I spent about 6 hours adding had just vanished off my Runelight client. And actually this had never happened to me in the whole 2 years of using the client, and I tried literally fixing it every way I knew possible. Unfortunately though, I just remarked some of the tiles I felt necessary and tried to do most of it from memory. Another mechanic I tested prior to the quest was a glitch I was actually able to do back in 2014. Basically what would happen is if you get knocked out by a gorilla, interface stall twice, and teleport away, when you were to return to Atoll, every monkey would think you're still in jail and become non-aggressive to you and not try to throw you back in jail. This would have made the quest so much easier, but hey, that's kind of bug abuse, and it didn't work anyways and it was patched, so all in all, we'll just have to take some risks. So, on the hardcore, the first thing I actually had to do before the quest was gather some anti-poisons, and the easiest way to do that is just pick up the spawn in Hop Worlds next to the observatory quest start. So now I can start the quest and head to the JLO in the shipyard of Karamja, as well as kill a Karamja monkey for the monkey bones I would later need in the quest with my cannon to avoid HP XP. Next I went ahead and solved the puzzle because I sure as hell didn't have 200k, and I used my Runelight cheat client to help me do this. Next I ended up in Crash Island, which is actually just as dangerous as Atoll. You see that scorpion walking around over there? Well guess what? It's literally the same scorpion that's on Atoll. Also guess what? That thing hits 15s. You see that black tile I have marked right there? That's actually the de-aggression zone of the scorpion, meaning I have to wait till a waiter comes past that black tile before I can even talk to him, or literally the scorpion will one-hit me. Now on the actual Atoll Island for the first time, I have to stand around the south wall while walking west in order to get to the monkey archers. Now this side of the island isn't a full safe spot, and as you will see later, there are still monsters that can aggress me on even the outskirts of this island. So I have to watch out very carefully for spiders as well as other NPCs, as they don't even show up as yellow dots on the minimap and blend right into the environment. Not to mention, they can all one-hit me. I hopped on the alt and pulled the monkey archers to a very secluded spot away from all of the others. This was because if even in a very far away spot, 2 archers could line up horizontally with one another and they could both hit me at the same time, allowing me not to tick eat the hits, which is what I planned to do. As well, if the archer was too far away, I wouldn't be able to tick eat it because it would shoot its second shot before the first one even hit me, thinking I still had the previous HP. So by doing this lure, I was able to get the archer just in place in order to tick eat it and make sure it was not too far away, along with making sure it was away from the other NPCs. Now, I'm using an alt account to lure it in this position because if I don't, I can't tick eat it. And if I don't tick eat it, it maxes 20s, and it hits you multiple times. So, I will die if I do not use this alt. From here, I log back in on the hardcore and aggress a bird in order to get my HP down below full so I can tick eat properly. Luckily we timed this perfectly and ended up in the jail. And I definitely never thought I would be happy to be in jail. Next, to just bust me out of this cage, I had to organize what seemed like an entire heist. On one end of the ring, we have me on Quinslayer here boxing a scorpion so it can't one-hit potato only. Now, boxing an NPC only works for 10 minutes, and this is because the NPC will go back to its original spawn point after the 10 minutes has passed. In the other corner we have Chest Bra, who will be assisting me by timing the monkey archer kill on the exit of the jail on potato only so it does not one-hit me. The monkey archer here has a 30-second spawn timer till it respawns. I will also be on Jardy on the other side in order to kill the second scorpion and time the kill properly for the exit of potato only. This scorpion has a 30-second respawn. I pick the lock and start the rescue mission. People have always wondered why I wear a cabbage cape as a potato only Iron Man. Well, let's just say it's for instances such as these. So as you can see, we pulled off the prison escape, and I would actually have to try and do this 2 times later in the quest. But for now we booked it to the safest, closest tile to Hardcore in order to get some de-aggro. Or at least I thought. You can typically de-aggro these monkeys here by just waiting 15 minutes and logging out and back in. Weirdly enough though, these NPCs had a very awkward code. And why I say awkward is because out of literally what seemed like nowhere, these NPCs would start firing on our de-aggressed accounts, and not only just the account that was standing out, but literally all the accounts around. So I basically said no thanks to the original plan and formulated an entirely new one here. So what was that plan? Murder the monkeys. Now luckily, looking into this prior, I have to wait for Hardcore to be in a certain zone to talk to him, or else I'm in the aggression zone of a snake which can attack me in the middle of the chat dialogue and kill me. So because my de-aggression plan didn't work earlier, it sure as hell won't work now, and I needed to formulate a new way to get from where I am now to the U-shaped building in order to get the dentures and monkey speak amulet mold. Now luckily everything here has a 30-second respawn timer, so as long as I kill things in sequential order in the path by which I am running, I will be able to get past that NPC before it respawns. So I coordinate with 2 alts to kill 2 monkey archers on the east side along with the snake, then move west to kill 2 more monkey archers along with 2 more scorpions, and then tag a spider on my 3rd alt account. Literally 7 out of the 8 NPCs I just told you I have to run through can all one-hit me. Therefore, this was absolutely 100% necessary. Next, I stay in the brown shaded area of the hut to avoid going to jail, search for the monkey dentures, then search the other crate to drop down below to find the monkey speak amulet mold. So most people don't know this, but you actually can fail searching the crate here, especially if you have a low agility level, and that means that this does damage, which is kind of scary for an account such as this. Damage does tend to scale if you fail going down in this crate, and it will hit upwards of 15 at higher HP levels, but only 1 to 3 at my 10 HP. So I got the amulet mold and the dentures, and you all know what's next. The dreaded but well anticipated Monkey Madness tunnels. In these wonderful tunnels, which consist of a multi-combat feature, you can get hit by zombie monkeys, skeleton monkeys, falling rock damage from the sky, floor spikes, wall spikes, and spike traps. So do you want to hear my original plan? Well, have you guys ever heard of a fake log? So in this clip from Eric Gog Joey, you can see how he uses this NIFL or fake log in order to make the game think he is logged out. There are very common fake logs such as the one used in Inferno when scouting for a whole 5 seconds, or there are longer ones which are done completely different ways. I've actually learned how to fake log for extended periods of time in different ways, and a lot of these have been told to me by my friend God's Hell, as well as my friend Druicidal. The original plan was to set up a fake log in order to get at least 5 minutes to run through the caves and take no damage that way. One method to trigger a long fake log is to override the system with an interface open while adding multiple friends. This can even be the same friend over and over again. Now, just knowing this is somewhat useless as you can't actually trigger a fake log worth any amount of time unless you literally are doing this for a solid 6 hours. And not only just doing it normally for 6 hours, but literally botting it at 10 milliseconds or less per action for 6 hours. This would pretty much get my account banned 100%. So I don't consider myself as much of a bug abuser, or botter especially, to use something as strong as this in an exploit. Therefore, we're going to Plan B. We must form the Dream Team. In the bottom left, we have Rojas, one of the most experienced One Prayer fire capers. In the bottom right, we have Mauler OSRS, one of the most intelligent account builders in the game and YouTuber. In the top left, we have Lalo, one of the most respected members in the Ultimate Ironman community. In the front, we have I Ate Too Late, one of the most known Zerker hybrids on Runescape Twitter. And lastly, in the top right, we have Chest Bra. All here to protect one idiot's journey through a cave with only raw potatoes. Together we form
the Potato Warriors.
My original plan to use the Potato Warriors was very advanced, and it was crafted in the best editing software for photos known to man. It consisted of a phalanx type strategy with 2 people on the sides moving forward with 2 people following them behind, so I would still be protected on the hardcore in the middle. From there, the person in the front would move 1 step forward to match those on the side, with the hardcore following and another account following the hardcore in the back. Now, I didn't think much into this theory because if too many NPCs lined up in the front, you would be blocking them from the hardcore, but the accounts in the front wouldn't be able to move, or else their character would go transparent and the NPCs would then attack the hardcore. So what did we do instead? Well, we really just used a lot of ice. So the elite Potato Warriors used ice spells in order to get NPCs off me by walking in front of me, behind me, and beside me. I also went ahead and marked all the tiles prior with traps, as well as exact pathways I should take in certain areas, because many of these traps were hard to even see, and some were even unavoidable. This strategy was very unpredictable, and we made it as we went. Therefore, I do not recommend this, and it actually freaked me out many times, and I could have easily died probably multiple times in these caves. The hardest part though was the corners with the skeleton monkeys. We would have to have one person go to one corner, lure them around like neck reels, DD them, and then time the entry on the hardcore to barrage it the second that I ran past. Not to mention, one of the Potato Warriors would have to do the exact same thing in front of me and go to the next area with skeleton monkeys and make sure they were frozen as soon as I ran in towards the next part of the tunnel. This is because both skeleton monkey areas have different spawns relative to their original location, but they actually have the same aggression zone and can run into each other in the passageway between their 2 areas. We also had to make sure when we lured and barraged these NPCs in proper timing to not kill any of them, because they do respawn, and they respawn relatively quickly and seemingly out of nowhere. Chest Bra. Don't worry my friends, these things only max 12s, meaning that thing could have just one-hit me and ended the entire series if luck wasn't just on my side. I went ahead and started logging out more often in the caves after this, and I actually used that to my advantage by having the Potato Warriors clear the area and making sure that no spawns would result where my body currently was when I were to log back in. Remember Underground Pass? Well, you still actually don't need a plank here either, because you can just step 1 tile back and then 2 tiles forward as long as your run's on to avoid all damage. Just like Chest Bra did right here. Finally, we made it to the end of the tunnels, but I really didn't look at a quest guide for this, and I thought I could just use the amulet mold when I actually made the amulet. I don't know why this idiot had to see it, but I guess we're gonna have to go back through the tunnels again. Alright, wonderful. Thank you for giving me back that amulet mold you didn't even use, so now I get to risk my whole life and go use it myself. So also guess what? Technically no alts were used, just really good friends. And no bugs. So how about that, Richard Gibbs? But next we treaded into a territory which was just as dangerous. The Monkey Temple, infested with giant gorillas and monkey zombies at the very bottom. But before we could get to that point, we had to once again wander through the dangerous jungle of NPCs which could one-hit me, and then go ahead and lower my HP in order to risk my life in front of a monkey archer and take heat it once again, just to get thrown back in jail. From here I once again had to align 3 alts to perform the heist to get me out of jail. So these gorillas have a really weird aggression zone. It's literally 3 tiles, and if you're anywhere close at all to these gorillas, even if someone is already attacking them, they're going to go ahead and aggress the guy running past them. As well, their de-aggression zone is literally in the temple itself, so I can't actually just sit here and wait for de-aggression unless I was in the physical temple. So these gorillas are very large NPCs, actually being 2x2, and if you get a large clump of them, you can't actually move them around very well. So because these NPCs are so hard to drag, we could only drag so many of them in the correct position in order to clear my pathway to go up the southwest stairwell. I also had a box went in southwest that couldn't be dragged. And don't worry, that thing can only hit 14s. So after I almost died there, I went ahead and used an alt again to lure the other gorillas upstairs in order to clear a pathway to go to the next ladder. So now that I'm actually in the temple and in a safe spot in the temple for once, I can go ahead and wait 15 minutes for the de-aggression timer to make sure the gorillas downstairs don't attack me when I climb down the ladder. And yes, I was a little bit scared to do this. Great, now I can just go down the door and make the amulet. Or can I? Well, unfortunately, once you go down that trapdoor, there are several zombie monkeys which will auto-aggress you, as well as it being a multi-combat zone. This isn't even the worst part, as also once you go down this door, you will enter a 4-tick stall where you can't move or eat or teleport or do anything. Well, remember the fake log I was talking about earlier? I'm gonna go ahead and do something similar to that. So you can actually put in a logout request before you use most objects within Runescape that have a stall. You just have to be quick enough between clicking logout and the object. This will make the game think you are logged out during the stall and auto-log you directly after that. By doing this, I avoid the stall damage, and I go ahead and line up the monkeys with my alt accounts in order to block them off when I log back in. I then run to the furnace to make the monkey speak amulet and literally burn myself alive. Now I just go ahead and head back to the jungle where things can one-hit me in order to get back inside a patrol. But don't worry, this time just in case, I took a bodyguard with me, my trusted friend, Chest Bra, who was for some reason in monkey form. Remember how I said these things can one-hit me earlier in the video and how they can blend into the jungle pretty well? Well, let's just say I didn't expect to die at this part in the quest. Next I line up the archer and go ahead and tick eat back to jail. From here I plan and execute my third and final heist out of the jail in order to get the talisman from the little monkey. Now, I thought monkeys were great at climbing, but apparently not, because if this child monkey would have just climbed his own set of stairs in his own house, he would have realized his real uncle is up top on the 2nd floor. Now, having to traverse the Monkey Madness tunnels once again, I will have to assemble the one, the only,
The Potato Warriors.
to guide me once again straight through hell. I've never been happier to get like a quest item because this thing literally makes you invincible up until the boss. So from here I would not need the Potato Warriors any longer for this quest. I'm sorry the Potato Warriors, but you know, I got a talisman now. So I went and headed to Artie Zoo and talked to the Karamjan monkey in order to smuggle him into my backpack. So from here I just took a little break before I needed to head to the real challenge, the boss. And if you guys didn't know, you can actually use this monkey in your inventory with bananas, and it gives you a small chance at rolling a medium clue. But keep in mind, you actually do need to go through the chat dialogue to roll the chance for him to spit one out. So I got a nice little medium clue which I might complete later, and obviously it's going to bless me with rangers. So I rescued the monkey and got the sigil from Hardcore, so we are now ready for the boss fight. So here we are at the Jungle Demon, the final step in the quest and the easiest one to mess up on. Right off the bat, we know the Jungle Demon can max 32s, therefore I absolutely have to tick-eat this NPC. Now this NPC has such a long attack range and such a slow attack that it can fire off its second attack before its first one hits you, and it could easily kill you if this attack hits you and you try to tick-eat it. Now in this room, your character actually seems to spawn in one of two places, that being the northeast corner or the southwest corner. But the demon spawn is somewhat random relative to where you're standing. Now since you typically spawn southwest, I figured the safest path to be would be southeast, because you actually don't run into any traps defaultly running on the minimap this direction. As well, if you time this run perfectly and the demon spawns in one of many possible locations, you will only get hit once, avoiding the possibility of the demon actually overhitting your HP. The other problem with this though is that the demon spawn is random. You could actually almost run into his melee zone or even get hit twice on the run to the southeast corner. In order to mitigate this risk of the demon spawning in incorrect places and double hitting me or melee hitting me, I would need a one-click teleport in order to panic telly and make sure I take no damage from the demon. Later, by using the entity swapper on Runelight, I was able to make my Chronicle a one-click teleport by switching the left and right click options. I also don't want HP EXP, so I need to figure out a safe way to place down my cannon, as well as make sure it hits the demon on the final hit. I found out by going down the trapdoor and then going back up, it automatically despawns the demon and gives me a safe environment to set up my cannon. For the last step, I would need to hit the demon when it was almost dead, and I could do this by stalling the cannon with an interface such as I did in the last video. It's one thing to be able to plan something such as this, but it's a whole nother thing to execute it. So let's see what happens. We've killed the demon, but the quest doesn't end here. If I actually were to go ahead and talk to Garkor with the arrow over his head, I would have been teleported out at the end of his chat dialogue to the middle of the jungle and killed by spiders and everything else. So instead, we use our handy Chronicle once again in order to teleport out and take a safer route back to the Grand Tree to complete the quest. And there you have it, Monkey Madness completed on a hardcore with 16 combat, 1 defense, 1 prayer, 10 HP, and of course, only using raw potatoes. Once again, if you guys enjoyed coming with me on this journey, it would be really appreciated if you can subscribe. As well, I'll be streaming occasionally on Twitch with some of this content, so I'll link that in the description below, along with my Twitter. And thank you once again for 10,000 subscribers, it means so much to me. And to those watching, hoping I died, I'm so sorry, but I didn't. But it was great keeping you on suspense the whole video, thinking that was gonna happen. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time on episode 6 of Potato Only Hardcore Ironman.